Bronco Nation, to my new weekly segment, Boise State Broncos in the NFL, where we check in on all of our great Boise State alumni. These videos are going to focus on former Boise State players who completed their careers at Boise State. So far, there are 17 right now, a couple of players on scout rosters or an injured reserve, or so. As the season progresses, if any of them move on to the active 53-man rosters, we'll add them in. 17 players to get through, so let's get through those now. These are just going to be a quick look at their stats, so you can keep track of your Boise State Broncos and how they're your former Boise State Broncos and how they're performing in their excellent careers in the NFL. First off, running back Alexander Madison playing with Minnesota Vikings. 12 carries, 69 yards, 5.8. Average of 5.8 and a long of 18. Great game today. Of course, he's spelling Dalvin Cook there as the backup now that Dalvin Cook's come back from his injury. Running back Alexander Madison's got a bright future in the NFL. Right now, a backup, but at some point, he's going to get a chance as a starter in some team's offense. But he's doing a great job right now as the backup. Green Bay Packers, Billy Wynn recorded no stats today. Jacksonville linebacker Kamale Correa, he recorded 1 tackle. Dallas Cowboys, or the Dallas Boise State Broncos. So many players. Of course, offensive coordinator, head coach, offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore is for Dallas. One of the most impressive Boise State alumni ever, greatest quarterback ever for us. He's their offensive coordinator. So let's go through these players. Wide receiver Cedric Wilson, very active today. Not as many catches as usual. 1 reception for 6 yards on 3 attempts or 3 targets. But he did have 2 punt returns for 3 yards. And on the trick play that Dallas ran on a kickoff, Cedric Wilson caught the ball and then he lateraled across the field. And that was caught and ran for about a 60-yard plus return. Would have been further, but for a couple of penalties there. But 60-yard plus return, he's really become a key part, especially in the trick play department. He already has a passing touchdown so far this season. So really getting involved in the offense in the Boise State way there. Defensive end Tyrone Crawford. No recorded stats today as far as tackles go, but he was heavily involved. He got through the line to almost block 3 kicks, and he actually did end up blocking 1 point after attempt. They really couldn't stop him at all. In fact, it influenced the decision making there for the Steelers. At the end, they ended up going for it on 4th down versus kicking a field goal just because they knew they couldn't stop Tyrone Crawford. He also had a forced fumble. That was called back due to penalties. Defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence, heart and soul of the Dallas line there. 4 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pass deflection. Linebacker Leighton Vander Esch really returned now from the injury. He really seems to have shaken off the rust from those injuries. So he had 6 tackles, and he also forced that 4th down attempt there towards the end of the game that ended up being unsuccessful. Gave Dallas the ball back, gave them a chance to drive down the field, ended up pulling up short, but it was due to Vander Esch and Tyrone Crawford that even happened in the first place. Safety Darian Thompson recorded 2 tackles. Philadelphia Eagles had a bye week today, so we didn't see anything from wide receiver John Hightower. Tennessee Titans running back Jerry McNichols. He had 2 carries for 10 yards and long of 5. He's no longer the second string back there for the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans a couple weeks ago signed Dante Foreman, who had 5 carries for 11 yards, so he's getting the majority of the backup carries. But McNichols is still being involved in the offense. He has shown a lot of success there on being able to spell Derrick Henry. So I think he's a better pass-catching back, so I think he has a lot of opportunities, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes from there. Atlanta Falcons, Durant Miles, defensive end, no stats today. Denver Broncos, quarterback Brett Rippon, of course, no stats today. He's second string there to Drew Lock, but great job to really secure that second string. He cemented himself in that position, and if some point during the season Locke ends up getting hurt or at some point he's going to get a chance with another team to become a real starter. For now, he's just learning, developing, and cementing that second string. So that's a great job for Rippon. San Francisco 49ers cornerback Jamar Taylor, 5 tackles, so really kind of developing now with San Francisco becoming part of their defense there after being signed midway through the season. Of course, he had that great game a couple of weeks ago with 2 interceptions, so really becoming, I wouldn't say necessarily key yet of their defense, but really making an impact there. Arizona Cardinals linebacker Tanner Vallejo, he had 1 tackle. The offensive line, it's hard to look up their stats, so we're just going to mention them. They're on the 53-man roster. They're making impact in their games. Offensive tackle Ezra Cleveland, Vikings. Offensive tackle Charles Leno Jr. with the Bears, and then center Matt Paradis with the Panthers. So that concludes the look at Boise State Broncos in the NFL. If you want to root on our Boise State Broncos, both on the field now and to root them on in their NFL careers, make sure you join Bronco Nation Updates page, over 8,000 passionate Boise State fans, as we root on all of our current and former Boise State alumni. All right, thank you for watching this video. If you like these videos, like and subscribe. I also do a 3 keys to the game video every week for the Boise State football game. I do a review of that game and how Boise State measured up to those keys. And I also provide a top 25 rooting guide, how Boise State fans should root in the top 25. All right, thank you for watching this video. Go Big Blue!